Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was one of the biggest pop culture phenomena of the late 80s and of the early 90s, with a successful cartoon which debuted in 1987, and several other things including a successful toy line, a live-action movie series, and a multitude of video games based on the 1987 cartoon. My favorite Ninja Turtles game, my favorite beat 'em up, and the subject of this video is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4 Turtles in Time for Super Nintendo. The game is a port of Konami's second Ninja Turtles arcade beat 'em up, which is titled Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Turtles in Time. I personally prefer the Super Nintendo version because it has more polished gameplay, more stages, and more boss battles. While both versions of Turtles in Time are based primarily on the 1987 cartoon, they both also include elements from the second live-action movie Secret of the Ooze. In addition, the Super Nintendo version includes elements from the toy line. Now onto my review of the Super Nintendo version. The premise of Turtles in Time is that one day in 1992, Krang, using his enlarged exosuit, steals the Statue of Liberty. Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, and Raphael then head out to search for Shredder and Krang, hoping to take back the statue. The Turtles catch up to Shredder, only for Shredder to send them into a time warp. The Turtles must brave their way through different time periods and hordes of enemies as they look for a way to return to 1992. I will now talk about the gameplay. The four turtles are varied in terms of stats and attacks, giving the game depth and replay value, and each turtle is fun to play. The combat system is easy to learn and includes a wide variety of moves that are both useful and fun to use. My favorite move is the move where a turtle grabs a foot soldier and throws the foot soldier at the screen. The move is funny and satisfying and is good for obtaining points. My second favorite move is the move where a turtle grabs a foot soldier and repeatedly slams it on the ground to the left and to the right. A sweet bonus is that this move instantly kills other foot soldiers who get too close to the turtle using it. The dash is a great feature. The speed is great, and the attacks used while dashing are great for quick damage and getting close to enemies. Mid-air attacks are all great too. I especially love the attack where a turtle somersaults in the air. The special moves are all great too. I love how the attacks are over the top, adding to the excitement of the game and giving a charm similar to the charm of the over-the-top action of the 1987 cartoon. The gameplay is made even better by the great well-drawn graphics that are faithful to the art style of the 1987 cartoon. The characters, playable or non-playable, are colorful, well-animated, and expressive, and the environments are beautiful and varied. Another thing that adds to the gameplay is the game's great humor. The turtles can be injured in amusing ways. Just to name a few ways, they can be flattened, get electrocuted, get burned, and, my personal favorite, hurt their toes in a way that makes them jump up and down shouting, "My toe! My toe!" I will now talk about the stages. First, I will make general comments about the stages. The stages are well sized in terms of width and have fairly placed pizzas that recover health. On the subject of recovery pizzas, grabbing a pizza and hearing the "pizza time" voice clip are very satisfying. In addition, grabbing a pizza with a bomb drawn on the box is a lot of fun because it makes a turtle do a satisfying spinning attack which instantly kills enemies. Setting off explosives available in certain stages is also satisfying. I love the stage clear sequence. The stage clear song is great, and hearing the turtle or turtles in play shout "Cowabunga" is great fan service and very satisfying. Now I will comment on the stage settings. Although my favorite stages in the game take place during the time warp, I appreciate that the game does not rush into the time warp and starts off with 4 stages taking place in the game's present. The first 4 stages take place in 4 great and varied environments which are based on the 1987 cartoon. The first 2 take place in New York City above ground, the third takes place in the New York City sewers, and the fourth takes place in the Technodrome. These stages are great fan service, make the time warp stages easier to appreciate, and develop an atmosphere which is faithful to the 1987 cartoon and which prevents the game from being merely a game with Ninja Turtles characters in it. I love the first 4 stages, especially the sewer stage and the Technodrome stage. The sewer stage is great for the excellent song, the sewer setting, the idea of surfing on the sewer water, and the enemies, including the pizza monsters from the 1987 cartoon. Another great touch is the boss fight against Rat King driving a weaponized water ski, of which the design is based on a vehicle from the toy line. The Technodrome stage is great because of its excellent songs, the mid-boss fight against Toka and Razar, the great elevator segment right after this fight, and the great fight against Shredder piloting a giant mechanical weapon. The Technodrome is also the perfect setting for Shredder to send the Turtles into the Time Warp. Speaking of the Time Warp, the game has the right number of stages taking place in the Time Warp, and the Time Warp stages take place in great, varied, and fitting settings that have action-adventure movie feels to them. The Dinosaur stage is great just for the idea of fighting in an area including dinosaurs. The Pirate Ship stage and the Wild West train stage are great settings for a beat-em-up because pirate settings and Wild West settings are popular settings for action-adventure stories. I also love that there are 2 stages set in the game's future, each with a different futuristic setting. On the subject, I think one futuristic stage would not have been enough. The near future stage has a cool setting reminiscent of cyberpunk stories, and having the stage as a Mode 7 track similar to the tracks in F-Zero is a great change of pace and a great touch. The distant future stage has a welcome sci-fi movie feel to it that completes the action-adventure movie atmosphere of the Time Warp and is a satisfying end to the Time Warp segment of the game. All of the stages have great songs. I especially like the songs from the Sewer stage, the Technodrome stage, the Dinosaur stage, the Pirate Ship stage, and the Distant Future stage. I will now talk about the boss battles. The bosses are varied, fun to fight, and well drawn, and each boss fits the stage they appear in. The game wouldn't be a game based on the 1987 cartoon without Shredder or without Krang, so it's great that the game includes the both of them. Including Baxter Stockman, Bebop, Rocksteady, and Leatherhead from the 1987 cartoon was a great idea, because they are some of my favorite villains from that cartoon. Toka and Raza are good choices because I loved them in Secret of the Ooze, and Metalhead and Slash are good choices because of the idea of turtles fighting against another turtle, mechanical or organic. Speaking of Slash, I'm glad his toy design was used instead of his 1987 cartoon design, because I think the toy design goes better with the game. I also love that there are 2 Krang fights. He fits the futuristic stages best, his exosuit goes well with the near future stage, and his saucer in the distant future stage fits the stage and is a great touch. These boss battles all have a great song, which adds intensity to the battles and fits the game's atmosphere. I will now talk about the final battle. The final battle is against Super Shredder, who I loved in Secret of the Ooze. I love that the final battle is against Super Shredder instead of regular Shredder, because Super Shredder is much more intimidating and therefore a better choice of final boss. The battle against Super Shredder himself is my favorite battle in the game due to Super Shredder's intimidating appearance, his awesome song, his teleportation, and his intimidating attacks, especially his retro mutagen attack, which reverts a turtle to a regular turtle. I will now talk about the ending. The turtles using the turtle blimp to return the Statue of Liberty is satisfying. The credits sequence is great because of the great song and the great picture showing the turtles riding the blimp. The cast of characters is a great retrospective of the game and a great touch, and the scene with Splinter's congratulatory message to the turtles and the turtles shouting "Cowabunga" is satisfying. Overall, Turtles in Time for Super Nintendo is a great beat-em-up with its deep, well-executed combat and variety of fitting settings, and a great Ninja Turtles game with its great use of Ninja Turtles characters and its incorporation of elements not just from the 1987 cartoon, but from other Ninja Turtles sources as well. That concludes my review of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4 Turtles in Time. Take care.